when filmmakers wanted to make what we would call quick and dirty films. It was much easier to portray various ethnic and racial groups in a one-dimensional way.
The images are disturbing. They are crude representations of entire races, ethnic groups, and genders. They have been defined as stereotypes.
And the theater, especially in the 19th century, had a very prescribed type of casting.
Hollywood movies were infamous for portraying ethnic groups in stereotypical ways.
Over the years, a variety of groups in America have been subjected to being stereotyped by filmmakers and motion pictures. African Americans, Asians, Jews, Hispanics. But one stereotype crosses all racial and ethnic boundaries, and that is how women have been portrayed in cinema. From the earliest days of motion pictures, the roles women received were a clear reflection of how they were treated in society.
Well, women on the screen were portrayed very much as if they were treated, or just like they were treated in real life. Men directed women the way they thought women should look, and that is as second-class citizens.
Back in the teens and 20s and into the 30s, the largest part of the audience was women. And this led to films that were tailored to women. There were women stars who played very strong characters, the Joan Crawfords, the Bette Davises.
At the turn of the 20th century, women's role in Western society often found them staying at home and raising a family. When films showed them defying their traditional roles, filmmakers had to create new stereotypes, including the tough wife fighting for the right to vote.
And then you had the breakthrough in the 30s, where women were portrayed as very intelligent.
I think Mae West, because she sounded powerful, she sounded like she was in control. And even though she was being very sensual and she was, making these remarks that were suggestive and sexy, she seemed to be, making a joke with everyone else. And, it wasn't the, sex kitten kind of thing. It was more, I'm having as much fun as you are.
What she would do is take a line in the script, such as, "Come up and see me sometime," and say it in such a way that would be scandalous.
Grand opening, the premiere of my new picture, I'm No Angel. Of course, I didn't call it I'm No Angel for nothing.
During the 1950s, objectification of women reached a new height with the creation of the sex kitten. Women, many blonde and often acting as if they hadn't finished high school, were shown as male fantasy figures, rarely developing a personality outside of this cocoon.
If you look at the role of women in films, you're going to see that as the years went on, their role changed as it changed in society.
I mean, you see films in the 30s where women are executives, where women are, romancing younger guys, where they're working their way to the men who work under them. Rarely would see something like that today.
While films have made tremendous inroads in reflecting a greater sensitivity to not creating negative stereotypes, they still exist. We don't have to look any further than the current major motion picture releases to realize we have not stopped using stereotypical images of women, as modern as they may be.
In the United States, really, you can count on your fingertips the number of women filmmakers who have actually made it, So I think that is the way women are portrayed becomes problematic because you don't have enough voice in that. I think objectification is a huge thing. I mean, some of the contemporary movies that I go to, we're talking today when this film called Sex and the City 2 is being released today, and there's all this excitement about it, and really it's made by a male filmmaker, and even though it's based on a woman writer's writings, it still portrays women. I think in some ways women see that as strong because it's supposed to be about female sexuality, but when I go to those films or even the show, it seemed to me that there was this hyper feminine role play in those roles, and the end object is to get a man, and how are we navigating those issues while looking absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And also I think of late in Hollywood cinema I've seen this this thing of looking at the woman, the achieving career woman, as sort of a misguided bitch in some ways, so pardon my French, but it's where really these women who have become very powerful and have lost touch with their softer side need to be brought down a peg or two and to be reintroduced to their sexuality and their softness in a certain way. So that's total male fantasy. I want the woman who's powerful, but she should be able to give that up when I want her to. Then there seems to be this trend toward that no matter how powerful you might be, you better hold on to your sexuality. Over time, we stop protesting. Over time, how much, there was the wave of feminism seems to have ebbed now, and you don't have as many people saying, I'm sorry, that film was blatantly sexualizing women and objectifying them and is problematic because that kind of woman, probably doesn't exist today. I think women haven't questioned it enough, and it's kind of, it's just become part of our fabric now.